One of the 98 Days of Summer, of course, was this past weekend. You were a part of the big parade out there in Chelmsford, the 4th of July parade. And, of course, the 4th of July parade comes right after the annual John Carson road race. And definitely a competitive road race. On the male side, Ruben Sanko was the winner, a guy from UMass Lowell.
Yep.
On the female side, Marissa Ryan won. She's from Brookline. A lot of people come and compete in this race. There was one guy who competed in this race, a local guy.
This guy gets the utmost respect from me.
Yeah, on crutches. Did the whole race on crutches, and we actually have him on the phone lines right now. It's Charlie Gargiulo Jr., a guy originally from Lowell, and competed in the race. Good morning, Charlie. Welcome to Merrimack Valley Radio.
Hey, thanks. It's good to talk with you guys.
Charlie, how are you, man? How are you feeling today after, a day after?
I felt a little bit sore, yesterday, but, it's funny, like, Saturday night I was just, like, on an adrenaline high. It was really fun to participate in the race. Crowd support was just amazing, but I'm actually feeling pretty good today.
Charlie, I actually, Charlie, it's Wireless Mike. I met Charlie Saturday night at a cookout out in Chelmsford that he came to after the race, and you could tell you were kind of feeling that adrenaline walking in there. You were just starting to deal with the swelling and stuff. Has that gone down on the leg?
Yeah, it's kind of an ongoing thing that I deal with. It is a chronic situation, but the swelling is better probably than when you saw it, Mike.
Right. Now, for anybody who doesn't know and is unfamiliar, a lot of people who went out to the parade probably saw you running in the road race. Tell us how it is that you ended up on the crutches there.
Sure. Basically, I guess the backstory is about 3.5 years ago I was diagnosed with a rare type of bone cancer called chondrosarcoma. And unfortunately, one of the things that took place as a result is I had to have my tumor removed surgically. It was found in my left leg. And I used to be a competitive runner, ran marathons, ran in Lowell High when I was younger. And because of the reconstruction that they had to do in my left leg, I'm no longer able to physically run. That's how I ended up on the crutches.
Right. And so what was it that made you decide that you were going to go out and do the road race here on Independence Day in Chelmsford?
It's funny. Like, it was sort of almost a game day decision to a certain extent, because I'm currently going through chemotherapy.
Right.
So, the first couple of days after chemo, you're definitely pretty wiped out and your immune system's down. So I had to kind of gauge how I was feeling. But, I missed the competition of running. I had a really good time when I was running at Lowell High. Great track coach, Phil Maya, who's still there. Basically that's one of the things that I really missed was just the excitement of race day. And, it was like kind of almost on a whim, like a couple of weeks ago. I was thinking, it's 2 miles. I wonder if I could do that on crutches. I don't know, it might be long. I've never tried that, but maybe I could pull it off. So told my buddy about it. He kind of laughed. He's like, all right, we'll sign you up and we'll see what happens. Yeah.
Now you called it a game day decision. Take us through race day. From the beginning, you made the decision to do it. You got in there. You started. Mm-hmm. What was it like, the 2 mile course for you?
It was the first half mile of it for me was. I'm so accustomed to being on crutches as part of my day-to-day life. But usually I'm just going short distances, going to the supermarket,
right.
Walking to the doctor's. So I guess I've kind of realized I sort of have this kind of type A way of walking around. Like I walk pretty fast on my crutches, but it's sort of like, in essence, it's kind of like sprinting from place to place. And I realized that about half mile in that I wasn't going to be able to do the whole race at that kind of, with that method. So I kind of adapted, and I realized I had to pace myself from the crutches. And then what was really moving to me, and I'll always remember from that day, was that, I was really far. I was way in the back, obviously, on the crutches. The runners are ahead of me, and then I quickly realized that the crowd was, cheering for me. Like I heard this big roar, about the mile mark, and I looked around for a moment. I was trying to figure out what happened. Where I missed, and then also I started hearing people kind of mumble, "Look at that guy on the crutches," So it was. Really, the last mile, as corny as it sounds, the crowd really carried me a lot. I think I kind of bit off a little bit more than I could chew. I was pretty exhausted at the end of it, but but the crowd support was amazing, and then it was really cool. My sister and all of her kids were there near the finish line, so they went like for the last 200 yards with me, and you know, my sister Belinda's been a great support, so it was really nice to have her out there.
You know, Charlie, we were talking a little bit, you know, that Saturday night there after the when I met up with you at the cookout, and you were saying, you know, how you said it was kind of a decision you missed competing. You know, I think this is just such a great thing because, you know, when you got the news that you had this cancer and the things you've had to go through, and you kind of described, you know, that night when we were talking, how it was sort of like one blow after another. Yeah. I think it's just so great, you know, for people to see it and to hear your story that, you know, that life does go on, and you got to get out there and just do it, you know, and see what happens. And so we're really glad to talk to you this morning, and I just think it's fantastic that you get out there and finish the race. And
you know what, Charlie? You know, you make us all feel good because there are many days like today when the alarm goes off at whatever time that you got to get up, and you say, "Oh, I really don't want," you know. And then and then you look at somebody like yourself and what you're battling and what you're doing. You say, "You know, my life ain't so bad."
Well, I really appreciate that, guys. And you know, and I guess that's the thing that, like, I've been humbled too. I've met some amazing people the last few years that are dealing with their own fight with this disease, and you know, I think it really inspires you. Like, I think it's sort of a community of people they get to meet, and you know, and that's the thing that I've taken from all this is that, you know, appreciate each day and get out there and you know, take advantage of the opportunities you have. And you know, we're all human. We have our ups and downs, but you know, you don't want to stay in that place for too long. Do your best to, you know, take advantage of what you can do.
So I got to ask you, Charlie, you got any road races in your near future? Anything on the horizon right now?
You know what? I don't know if I'm going to be doing any marathons anytime soon, but I had so much fun. I might try to do something else again before the end of the summer. Who knows?
Fantastic. Well, if you do, you got to let us know because we're going to be out there and we're going to be covering it.
Hey, Charlie, I got to tell you, you're an inspiration to all of us, man, and you know, keep fighting the good fight, okay?
Thank you so much, guys.
All right. I'll tell you, Mike, you know,
it's one of those stories, and you know,
because you could go either way. There were two ways when something like that, when you dealt those cards, right?
Yeah.
You can either go, yeah, well, you know, or go say, you know what, ain't going to affect me. I'm going to go out and run.
Right. And I just, you know, I thought we won. After talking to Charlie Saturday night, it's the first time I met him. He's such a great guy. And I said, I want to get him on because I want people who maybe saw him running who didn't know the whole story. And just, you know, it's one of those things that can get lost in the shuffle on a big day and a big race and a lot of things going on. It's one of those things that...
It's a great story.
Yeah.
Here in the Merrimack Valley.
Here in the Merrimack Valley, and a Lowell boy to boot.
That's right. 10:21 here on 980 WCAP. We'll take a quick break, and then we'll be back. We'll look at birthdays and some things happening on this day in history here on 980 WCAP. The home of